Well, hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of NFL Fantasy Matchup. Here we are in week 7, and I will probably say week 7, there are 6 teams on bye. So, man, it's going to be slim pickings as usual. Jimmy's over in Payson, Arizona. Jed is over in the suburb of Illinois. So, good morning, or actually, good evening, everyone.
Yeah, we're watching Thursday Night Football as we watched ETN score twice today. So he's a good pick. But we were saying Calvin Ridley's not doing anything right now.
Yeah, he's got 0. So, but you had to have been a little cautious with Trevor Lawrence having a gimpy leg, but he's in there. Lawrence is in there, if anyone was wondering, but not a whole lot. Oh, there's the ETN, another catch and nice run. Man, ETN has been so good. He has been so good.
ETN started off really slow this year,
yeah,
but he's actually come on. I mean, how many points? He's got 17 points already, and this is just like it's not even the first half.
Yeah, he's looked really good. I have definitely enjoyed having ETN.
Yeah.
Jed, will there come a day when you start benching Calvin Ridley and you just won't play him anymore?
Yeah, I think I should have benched him this week. I think after this week, you realize they're just very focused on the run game, which is fine. And it's not just that they're focused on the run game. And I wouldn't necessarily bench Trevor Lawrence because ETN's game has so much of those screen passes that, Lawrence gets the credit for that. So, but yeah, Calvin Ridley, I think it's a matchup thing. You just got to look at the matchups and play that. And the Saints actually have a pretty decent defense. So,
yeah. And I find a lot of times Christian Kirk actually gets a lot of looks.
Yeah. Christian Kirk is actually really good. I would say he's the best out of the 3 receivers that they have right now. Christian Kirk.
Yeah. Well, hey, today with this coming Sunday, there's a lot of buys and a lot of potential people are injured. Let me actually get started over at the San Francisco 49ers. It's a Monday Night Football game. Christian McCaffrey, there's a chance, not likely, that he'll play. But yet at the same time, last week when he went out for injury, it was not Elijah Mitchell, but more so Jordan Mason was the one who got the majority of carries. He's picked up alongside with Elijah Mitchell on pretty much all your waivers. Who are you starting, Jordan Mason or Elijah Mitchell? Let me start with you first, Jed.
Actually, neither. I think McCaffrey seems like he's going to gut it out. So I don't know that I would start either of them. But yeah, I don't know. Let's just see. I mean, that was it last week. If you guys remember this, we didn't record after this past Sunday, but 2 undefeateds getting beat, 49ers and then the Jets winning over what was that, Philly?
Yeah,
Philadelphia. Philadelphia losing. So those are the 2 losses. So those are really, really big. I think last week was a little bit of an anomaly, guys. Like, I feel like if you lost last week, so I'm undefeated in one league and I lost last week, but I think it was a little bit of an anomaly. It was just kind of a weird week. Like your big time, other than the Dolphins, your big time teams lost. So I think it'll go back to normal this week.
Yeah. Well, let's see, because there's not a lot of players playing this week here, Jed.
Yeah, that's true with the buys. Okay, so what I was going to say is if you're looking for a backup, as opposed to the 49ers backup, I'd go to the Rams with Kieran Williams out. Like, who's the backup there? I like that guy.
Oh, by the way, Jed and Jim, Kyren Williams, it looks like he's now out just 1 week. You're saying he'll probably be out for about 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Then there's a bye.
Really?
So maybe altogether 5 weeks altogether.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's his backup? I picked him up in one league. Evans. Last name is Evans.
Oh, what about Royce O'Neal?
No, I think Zach Evans is the guy that you want.
Yeah, Zach Evans is the guy that you're going to want.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. They're already saying that he's going to be most likely the starter for this, but Zach Evans is the person that you're going to want out of this team.
Yeah, and that's the guy I think it'll pay off for you because, like you said, he's probably out at least 3-4 weeks. So if you're able to pick up Evans, it's a good pickup.
Well, I'm looking at it now. Jeff Wilson Jr. is slated to come off the IR this week. He actually might be somebody that somebody might want to pick up as well too.
He's on Miami, right? Miami.
Yeah, Miami. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, hey, actually, the one person I was going to ask you guys, Jim, what do you think about Kareem Hunt? Yeah, last week he had his best game in the season. 15 carries, 71 yards, and 1 touchdown. Kareem Hunt is not looking that bad there.
No, he's not, but I'm a little biased because I spent so much money on Jerome Ford, like tons of money. I'm all in on Jerome Ford. But here's the thing, there's no running backs right now, right? Like if I was thinking about if I were to do my draft over again this year, I'm going to go after some of these like second tier running backs so that you can stash them, because these running backs are going down, whether it's a hamstring injury or a high ankle injury. These guys are going down fast.
Well, I was just going to say that Kareem Hunt actually showed up as questionable because of some kind of a thigh. He had a thigh injury, and so limited participant in practice today. But actually, so I have him, but I actually am playing Warren, Jaylen Warren over him.
Yeah. Hey, in terms of Rams backfield, you have Zach Evans or Royce Freeman, with Zach Evans being the rookie. And so a lot of times, hey, look, they even signed Darrell Henderson. Remember him?
Yeah.
Wow.
Another person on the list as well, too. With David Montgomery out, Jim, let me get your thoughts on this one. With David Montgomery out, Jahmyr Gibbs is actually going to be starting, and they're going to give him the majority of the carries. But yet, at the same time, Craig Reynolds is your backup, and he may be splitting some carries compared to seeing how Jahmyr Gibbs, especially with David Montgomery out.
Well, last week I remember watching the game when David Montgomery went out, and they really liked the fact that he can block. Like, he's a really good blocker. And I think Gibbs came on. He had 17 touches the last time Montgomery was out, but his yard just wasn't there, So I'm hoping he's one of those guys who'll come on midseason and he'll become the starter from now on. So that's what I'm hoping. But I can see where they can split, because I don't know if they necessarily have 100% confidence in Jahmyr Gibbs right now. But I've got him in so many of these teams right now. So,
man, Montgomery has been good too.
Oh, Montgomery's been amazing,
good.
Right?
Yeah, he's pretty much held off Gibbs. I think that's why. And by the way, Kamara is doing pretty good in this game too. If you've got Kamara, he just picked up a nice 20-yard screen pass.
I mean, here's
I was even trying to figure out if I should pick up Jamal Williams, because he just came out from IR
as well too. Yeah.
Yes, is he going to get these short yardage carries for a touchdown?
Tom, actually, that's not bad, because who is it?
He just came in.
Yeah, the backup that they had is actually not that good. He was supposed to do pretty well, but now with Jamal Williams on there, the last time he had like 2 yards, right? And so I think they're going to figure out how to use Jamal Williams. Now,
also, a lot of times, Jed, if you're looking for a running back, take a look at Ezekiel Elliott. Look, Ramondre Stevenson is still your starter, but Ezekiel Elliott got his first touchdown this past week. What do you think?
No, I wouldn't touch him at all. The Patriots are terrible, man. So you remember, he's getting all the goal line carries, but how many touchdowns are there in New England? There's not a lot. So I don't know. I don't like that.
Yeah. Jim, last week, Jameson Williams, what do you think of him? Jameson Williams, a high draft pick, came off a suspension. Did you like him last week? He's 34% rostered, and 6 targets in his first 2 games played, and he did have 53 yards last week.
He's okay. I mean, if you really look at the Lions team, right? Let's just say that Montgomery's in. You've got Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's going to get the bulk of the receptions. Sam Laporta has really come on, so he's their number 2 option. Montgomery's in, he's there in it as well too. You also got Josh Reynolds. So I think they're only going to use Jameson Williams as a deep threat. And so you might get some scores out of that. I thought about him from a dynasty perspective, but there's a couple other teams like Tajay Spears. There's a couple of running backs that I'd much rather have on the sleeper. So that's why I haven't rostered him on my league.
Yeah, I saw right before we hopped on, I think it was ESPN. I forgot who the writer was, though. They had their Power 5, their top 5, and they had the Lions as number 1. I was like, when has that happened in the last 20 years?
Well, Dan Campbell's a good coach.
Oh, the team, and I'm not saying it's not legit. I think it's legit. I think the Lions have looked great. But man, who would have thought? I mean, if you're a Lions fan, congrats, because you guys have been waiting for a long time. But man, that's pretty impressive.
And wouldn't you say, look, David Montgomery's doing pretty well, Amon-Ra St. Brown, but it is Aiden Hutchinson and the offensive line that I think is carrying the Lions.
Well, yeah, and giving them time to throw, giving Goff time to throw. And Goff, poor Goff, Jared Goff is always like, everyone always talks about him as not a really good quarterback, but man, he's had a great year, and he's like putting the ball where now that he has the time and the protection, he's doing really well.
Yeah, some people said like him, Josh Allen, Brock Purdy, they're all at least being mentioned in the MVP conversation. I mean, who knows whether or not he's going to keep up with this, but at least for the first half of the season, he's doing pretty well.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, imagine if the Lions had Kenny Galladay. They would be really, really good. Kenny Galladay. He's still sitting out there. Hey, speaking of someone old, right? Did you guys see who signed Julio Jones?
Yes, Philadelphia.
Philly, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he's on anyone's radar, but you know what? It is nice to see a Julio Jones coming back out there.
Hey, I could see him in those. I mean, big guy, red zone target coming in for just, let's say, 20 plays a game, but all in the red zone packages. I think that's worth a flyer. A team like the Eagles is the perfect team to go to.
Speaking of old guys, as you're watching the game, did you see the commercial where it was Dan Marino,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Randy Moss, and Jerry Rice dreaming about suiting back up, and they got back into their old uniforms?
I like that. I actually like that.
Yeah, they've been running that one for a while. That's a Frito-Lay, I think, or PepsiCo. It's a nice one.
Yeah. Hey, Deebo Samuel is probably not going to be playing as well, too. Or another one is Justin Fields is probably will not be playing because of the thumb.
Justin Jefferson, you mean?
No, Justin Fields.
Justin Fields is not going to play.
Oh, right.
Well, a couple of my leagues, DJ Moore has been. I mean, I was thinking about you the other day, Jed. DJ Moore was doing so well when Justin Fields, those 2 games. And last week without Fields, Moore has just not done well. I mean, Pageant is okay, but he's not going to be able to get the ball out there. Even Cole Kmet had like 2 straight really good games. And last year he just stunk it up.
Yeah, without Fields, it's tough. But again, you got to think that they've got to do something. Like, are they going to be able to run it? Or are they? I mean, Moore is going to be a clear option.
No, but listen to all those Chicago radio stations. It's almost like they've given up on Fields right now.
Yeah.
Like they're like, forget it. Let's just go for next season.
Caleb Williams, except there are reports that Caleb Williams wants a percentage of ownership if he is assigned with any team, which I think is kind of ridiculous.
You guys, so if you watched over college football, Oregon played Washington, both of those quarterbacks, so Bo Nix, but then also the Washington quarterback, they look great. I would argue they're just as good as Caleb Williams. If the Bears pick another quarterback, I'm fine with that. But I think the main thing is to go out and get Harrison. As long as they can get Harrison, I'm good.
Yeah. You don't think Caleb Williams is a generational talent like they say he is?
No, remember, I'm a Sooner fan. He was at Oklahoma, and I mean, he's a good player. Like, again, I just think I don't think he's a generational talent.
I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is a generational talent.
I think Marvin Harrison Jr. looks like Megatron, like reborn. So it's great.
Remember how good that guy was, Calvin Johnson?
Calvin
Johnson and Barry Sanders was on the same team during those years.
That's why the Lions deserve whatever they get, because they had to suffer through awesome players, but just horrible management of the team, bad coaching. I mean, they had all the pieces. I mean, Calvin Johnson, unfortunately, I don't know if they've repaired their relationship with him, if the Lions have, because I know he was kind of salty when he retired.
Yeah. Hey, with the Bears, a lot of times Travis Homer, he's back. Roshan Johnson is still not out of concussion protocol. It looks like that we still have Deontay Foreman as your starting running back.
Well, especially without Fields, I wouldn't be starting Foreman at all.
Yeah.
Jim, guess who's unhappy in Las Vegas?
I'm not watching the game. Who's got the ball right now?
Looks like maybe Jacksonville.
Yeah. Jim, I was saying that guess who's unhappy over at Las Vegas now? Davante Adams.
Oh, well, some people said that by the deadline for trade is by the end of the month. I actually can see them trading Davante Adams.
If he went to the Detroit Lions, they would be so good.
Oh my goodness, that would be insane.
Yeah. That would be good because they would need a second receiver. And look, Philadelphia has maybe a lot of time Kansas City, but they don't have enough cap room. If you could get him under Detroit, that would be so good.
Well, Kansas City just signed Miko Hardman. Did you see that?
Yeah, back. Yeah.
They traded. I guess
Jets.
they did a trade with the Jets.
Yeah.
Jimmy Garoppolo seems like he is going to be out.
Yeah.
But here's the one person who is coming back who practiced this past week, Aaron Jones. I cannot wait for Aaron Jones to come back.
He's only had one really good game this past season, right? Aaron Jones. Really, he hasn't really done much at all except for that first game of the season.
Jed, let me ask you a quick question. I was running this by Jimmy. Jimmy and I are in this 14-game league. And so there was this guy who wanted Bijan Robinson. So I traded Bijan Robinson and Jalen Waddle, who has been a disappointment, for Jonathan Taylor, Aaron Jones, and Jordan Addison. What do you think?
Oh, that's kind of interesting. I mean, I guess so. You needed running back help, is why you did that.
Oh my gosh, I needed depth. That 14-team
Depth.
league was killing me.
14
Yeah.
team leagues, you have no depth. Like every time I keep looking just to see what's out there, there's
Yeah.
nothing out there. Like especially running backs, there's no running backs.
Yeah, no, that's not a bad trade. I expect Taylor to really pick up, as he gets. The only problem with Taylor, you just got to hope that Minshew Gardner's like at least serviceable, and then they'll be okay. But yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, and Jed, I had Zach Moss also on my bench. So I've said Zach Moss, Jonathan Taylor, Aaron Jones, and Jordan Addison, because I'm not sure if Justin Jefferson's coming back.
Yeah,
And he got
yeah.
Bijan Robinson, and then also he got Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, no, that's good. I like Addison a lot because I think there's a chance they might shut Justin Jefferson down for the season. So
You think?
yeah, especially if things go south, if they don't win a couple, like let's say at least two out of the next four, then I think he's going to be shut down.
I mean, that's why like Detroit's got such an easy path for the division, because who else is gonna? It's not the Bears aren't gonna do it, right?
Nope.
Minnesota's not gonna do it. Maybe Green Bay might go after it, but it just really depends on Jordan Love.
Yeah. Hey, Jed, let me ask you. Kyler Murray officially practiced today. Is he
Oh,
someone you're looking at?
I didn't see that. I know. I like that.
You did not see me pick him up in our dynasty league?
No, I didn't see that. That's
No.
great. No,
Yeah,
good for him. Arizona has been a nice surprise. They played a lot better than I think people expected. James Conner, especially before he went down. So you picked him up in our league. I didn't even see that.
I did. Yeah, because I was like,
Oh,
because
nice.
I got Trevor Lawrence and Brock Purdy. I was like,
Ah.
you know what? I need to have him on just in case, because I don't fully trust Trevor Lawrence, and
Yeah.
Brock Purdy's okay, but I need somebody who's going to be able to score some points for me.
Yeah, I spent my money on Mason. Now looking at it, it's funny, but I'm not even. He's on my bench, so I don't because I think
How much did you spend on Mason?
Like 27.
Oh, I spent a lot of money on Jerome Ford when he came out.
Jim,
I'm not
Anthony
a-
Richardson gets season-ending shoulder injury surgery. Are you keeping him on your dynasty if you had dynasty?
Wait, who is it again?
Anthony
Anthony
Richardson,
Richardson.
quarterback.
No, I don't think so. I mean, you never. So here's the thing: where most games this season, he did not play the entire game, right? And so the question that you have to ask, at least if you're looking at next year, is he going to be injury prone, or is he going to be actually really just that good, right? And I just don't know if I fully trust him. There's other quarterbacks you can go out there for.
Yeah, I think quarterback is one of the ones where, especially in a keeper league, like you have to be absolutely sure that this is going to be a rock solid player. And I don't think we could say that yet, but he certainly was on his way to a good season. He had some really nice games and points, so I'm excited to see him come back. But I agree, if it's keeper league, I wouldn't necessarily keep him.
Yeah.
Although you guys know I've got Tua. And Tua is an interesting one there, whether or not you would keep him. I think at this point in the season, you would say yes,
Yeah.
but he's got to make it through the season. So
Yes.
I mean, here's my thing: if you have a keeper league and you got like a Sam Laporta, I actually would really consider keeping him, because good tight ends are hard to come by, right? So if you can get some good tight ends and running backs, those are the ones I want to keep on my dynasty league.
I've
Laporta,
enjoyed
great.
watching Sam Laporta play.
Yeah.
He's on a bunch of my leagues. I've really enjoyed Sam Laporta.
Yeah.
He's been great.
They said the other tight end to pay attention to is Mike Mayer, former Notre Dame tight end that's playing for the Raiders. They said they think he's gonna come on towards the end of the season.
Yeah. One that has not been bad is Luke Musgrave over at Green Bay. He's been actually decent. That is also a rookie as well too.
I picked up.
Yeah.
Someone dropped Kyle Pitts in our league. I picked him back up, so
Yeah.
I'm starting him this week.
I know.
Hey,
Well,
actually, this is a good segment as well too, as we look at different games. Atlanta Falcons, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. How do you think Kyle Pitts will continue to do under Desmond Ridder?
Well, that's why I picked him back up. First of all, someone dropped him, but the last 2 weeks, if you look, week 5 and week 6, he had 12 and then 13 points. So he was starting to pick back up. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, and I had Algier, so I didn't have like a great backup, or not Algier, the Rams tight end.
Johnny Smith has had 12 to 13 points, right? So who are you going to pick, Kyle Pitts or Johnny Smith?
Ooh, that's tough.
I actually think Johnny Smith might be a better play than Kyle Pitts. He's safe. They trust him. They go to him. By the way, did you know Arthur Smith? Who is it? He's like the son of some billionaire. They were talking about it. I got to find out who his dad is.
That's funny.
Yeah. Hey, Jim, Pittsburgh Steelers, LA Rams. Deontay Johnson is coming back. What do you like about the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Actually, they're okay. Like George Pickens is not like the best, but he's actually done decent. I actually tried to go after Deontay Johnson in a couple of leagues via some trades, but no one said and it gave me anything. It will be interesting this week to see whether Puka Nacua is actually going to continue because last week Cooper Kupp got a majority of the catches, but Puka Nacua, like if he caught that touchdown, he would have been fine. But he ended up only having 2 or 3 points last week. So
yeah, hey, look, I still have high hopes in Puka here, but Cooper Kupp has done really, really well. But I am really, really hoping for Puka Nacua.
Yeah. Sorry, Arthur Smith. You know who his dad is? His dad is Frederick Smith, who's the founder of FedEx. So he's part of the FedEx family.
Oh, wow.
So the reason that was interesting because they were talking about him. They were like, look at this guy. This guy's like a billionaire. He doesn't have to do this.
Oh, wow.
And yet he's like fully like invested into the Atlanta Falcons.
You guys know the FedEx story too, right?
No.
So basically, he when he was in business school, he wrote up the whole case study of how he was gonna. Because the whole thing FedEx did was they ship everything to a central facility and then ship out. And so the professor was like, "That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard because you're like taking more time, like you're covering more distance, right? Like if you're a neighboring state, instead of shipping it direct, it goes to a central facility." But his whole argument was like, it's about the logistics of it, and I need to get it all in one place. So he actually got a C on that paper, but that turned into FedEx.
Oh, that's funny. That's interesting. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Jed, Detroit Lions over the Baltimore Ravens. Who do you like in that game?
Oh, I got to go with the Lions. I mean, they're playing well, and yeah, everyone's high on them. They got to show they can beat these teams. This is a tough game. They got to show they can win. Do you know who's favored in that? I'm trying to look up the line.
I bet Detroit Lions is favored.
No, Baltimore is because it's
Baltimore Ravens is favored by 3 points.
By 3 points, which means they think they're equal because it's in Baltimore. So no, I take the Lions there. We'll see. Although the Ravens they're hot and cold, right? If they play hot, you could see them beating them for sure.
Tom, you traded Lamar Jackson for Trevor Lawrence the other day, but are you really going after Kyle Walker?
Actually, he traded me Lamar Jackson for Trevor Lawrence and Kenneth Walker.
Yeah. Well, you're also giving up a defensive player, Williams from New York.
Yeah, but hey, I got Kenneth Walker. That's who I really wanted. Because if I looked at it, Trevor Lawrence was getting about 19 points. Lamar Jackson, he has the capability to gain 30, but he was averaging about 19 points. But I really wanted Kenneth Walker.
That's not a bad trade.
No.
Yeah. Jim, Green Bay Packers against Denver Broncos. The Packers have been stinking up. Jordan Love has not been very good. And if you look at it, the quarterback, what's his face over in
Russell Wilson
has not been bad, even though he's had one terrible game last week.
Oh, someone picked him up. Was that you, Jimmy?
No, I didn't pick up Tommy. I think Tommy.
Was it you, Tommy? Somebody picked him up.
I picked him up and dropped him.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, but here's my thing. Aaron Jones comes back, right? And so I think that would relieve some pressure off of the receivers. We have not seen Christian Watson fully come on this year. Jordan Love is still pretty consistent. He had one bad game right before the break. So I actually still think that the Packers are, and it's a division that's easy that you can still win. So I actually still have some trust in the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
no. Here,
Christian Watson is coming back from injury, and Aaron Jones is coming back from injury against the Denver Broncos, who seem to be dumping everyone. Javonte Williams seems to be a shell of his former self. Was it Mims? Not very good. Sutton, not very good. Judy, completely non-existent.
By the end of the month, I think Judy's gone. I think Sutton's gone. I think they're going to try to remake this thing. So that's why actually Mims. I mean, I think Mims is. I would still trust Mims because he's one of the receivers that's left. They're going to have to throw to somebody, so that's why I'm holding on to Mims.
So that's what it was in our league. Somebody dropped Geno Smith for Russell Wilson, which I think is a mistake. But I guess I don't know what they're thinking there.
Yeah. 32 seconds to the half. Calvin
17,
Ridley
6.
has 0 points.
I know. Does he doesn't have does he even have an attempt? Is there
No.
even like a
He has 0 points. I could have
terrible?
found somebody else to play.
Maybe he's hurt.
I don't know.
I remember what he was like 2 years ago in Atlanta. Yeah, I mean, he had one really, really good year. And then that 1 year in Atlanta, he was terrible. He was so bad. Yeah. Hey, Jed, Cleveland Browns, Indianapolis Colts. The Cleveland Browns are favored by 3 points. What do you think of the Cleveland Browns? We don't know if Deshaun Watson's going to be playing.
Yeah, we talked about Kareem Hunt. I think, if you're desperate, again, there's a lot of teams off this week. Kareem Hunt is at least someone to potentially look at. He might be out there, but no, the Browns have not. The Browns have been surprisingly bad. If Anthony Richardson would play in this game, I would say this is an easy pick the Colts game. But the Browns have a good defense. They're playing in Indianapolis. I still think I would take the Colts here. I think I would take the Colts in this game.
Yeah. Jim, Philadelphia Eagles against the Miami Dolphins. The Eagles are favored by 2.5 points. It is probably your best Sunday night football game in a long while, and probably the best game on Sunday this coming week.
I mean, who is it? Jalen Hurts has struggled the last couple of weeks. He threw two interceptions, but I do think that they're going to have something to prove. I think that I do think you want to pay attention to Miami, but at the end of the day, I do think Philadelphia is going to end up winning. So. Tyreek Hill, did you guys see that stat for Tyreek Hill? Tyreek Hill is almost at 1,000 yards and is not even halfway towards the season.
No, I'm taking Miami in this one, man. I like Miami. Yeah. They have been playing really well.
No, but don't you think? I think Philadelphia is going to want to prove that they're actually a championship team.
Well, I think if Philly's going to try to run, I think they're going to try to slow the game down, run. Use that line to their advantage. But I just think Miami's speed at the end of the day is it's too much to deal with.
And Tyreek Hill, he deserves one of those large games where he just goes off. He has not had that for a while. So I'm waiting for one of those games. Yeah. Last one, Jed, Monday Night Football game. San Francisco 49ers against the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings have no one. They have no running backs. They have no wide receivers. What do you think of San Francisco? How bad would they destroy the Minnesota Vikings?
Well, yeah, they're 7-point favorites.
No, they got Jordan Addison.
Yeah, they're 7-point favorite. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be. Yeah, I think 7 points is about right. I think you could argue to take the Vikings with the 7-point spread. I think Addison's going to play well, and Kirk Cousins is still a very good quarterback. I think he's underrated still a lot of times, but I would expect the 49ers to ultimately pull this out.
Jet, at the end of the day, once the trading period is done, do you think Kirk Cousins will still be on the Minnesota Vikings?
Wow, that's a really good question. I think so. I think that'd be, I don't know, unless they could get a draft pick back, I would think that's, I don't know. That's a good question. One thing we didn't talk about was last week, if you guys remember the Monday night game, Cowboys beat the Chargers.
Yes, on a bad penalty.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but still, I was surprised the Cowboys were in it. I cannot figure out the Chargers, guys. The Chargers are 2-3? The Chargers are not having a good year. What is wrong with them?
The Chargers always like this, though. The Chargers on paper looks like they're really good. Keenan Allen is having an amazing year. Yeah. They just brought back Austin Eckler, but they always end up losing these close games, right? If you watched them last week, they let They let Dak Prescott become the highest scoring quarterback for the week.
Yeah, I remember everyone was talking about how bad Dak was, and all of a sudden he looked pretty good. Yeah, the Chargers are 2-3. I don't know. So they're playing the Chiefs this week. So that it could be. I think this could be a game that the Chargers could surprise you, like you said. They're upset, they're mad about that. They're 5.5-point underdogs. It's in Kansas City, but man, I could see the Chargers winning that game.
Yeah. Hey, our basketball draft is coming. Can we talk about that for a little bit too?
Yeah, we have 5 minutes before we got to jump on our basketball draft. Actually, Jim, I was going to ask you at the end, but when the season begins, is James Harden going to be on that team?
No, he's not, because he's already skipped a bunch of practice, and they're already threatened to kick him off the team. Yeah. Tyrese Maxey is the person who you want on that. Joe Embiid, Tyrese Maxey. I don't even think – who was it? They wanted two number one draft picks and Terrence Mann from the Clippers. There's no way James Harden is that good. But I did want to know, who are some late rounders that I need to pay attention to? Because I have not done much of my, what do you call it? Much of my research.
I have a list, but I am not sharing right before a draft day.
So that's where I was like, oh, I forgot all about it. I have no time.
All right. So I like Devin Vassell on the San
Okay.
Antonio Spurs. It's
I
a
like
nice
him
little
too.
sleeper. Jabari Smith. I don't know if you call him a sleeper, but Jabari
You think he's
Smith is
good,
one-
Jabari Smith?
Yeah. I
Oh,
think if you
yeah,
talk about
Jabari
sleepers,
Smith, yes.
yeah.
Now he needs to make a little more 3-pointers, but he was the number 1 draft pick the last couple of years ago.
Yeah, all rookie second team. I think he's only 20 years old. It apparently had a really good summer league in Vegas. I mean, he's a guy I target.
You know who Tommy likes? Who's that? What's his name? From Scoot
Portland?
Henderson. Scoot Henderson is the guy he likes.
No, not forget Scoot Henderson. Shaden Sharp. Shaden Sharp is the guy I like.
Yeah, I'm going.
Yeah,
I'm
second-year
literally,
player out of Portland Trailblazers. He's the guy I'm looking at.
I'm literally going through all my stuff right now, trying to research.
I'll tell you guys one thing I noticed today. It's really interesting. You guys know I collect sports cards, and there was a huge boom during the COVID years. A lot of sports card value shot up. A lot of them are starting to come back down now. And so I was looking at them, like, for example, my guy LaMelo Ball. Like his rookie cards were up in the 2,000-3,000s. They're down. You can get them down to around $200 or $300 now. So there's a part of me that's wondering if it's time to jump back in and get some of those because it could go back up.
Actually, sometimes I'll look to see like old Kobe rookie cards, Jordan cards, some of those things. Yeah. Hi.
All right. Good luck, guys, in your draft.
We got to jump on this call, just draft, and so we'll talk.
Wait, hold on. One more question. Ja Morant. Do you think Ja Morant's going to do well this year?
It's not worth the wait. I mean, I think he's going to do well, but you got to wait 25 games.
Yeah, Ja Morant. That guy. Awesome.
All right. Talk later, guys.
Good luck.
See ya.